right, everyone, and here is the new car. So here it is. It is a 2001 Audi TT, something I completely thought I would never own. I literally never in a million years thought that I even liked this car, because I'd only ever really seen them not very often. Never thought they were that good looking, and it wasn't until I just like randomly found one and started like actually looking at it that I realized that it was a pretty cool car. It is I said 2001 Audi TT. It is a 6-speed manual, and it's the Quattro, so all-wheel drive instead of the front-wheel drive, because they didn't make a rear-wheel drive option. And it's the 225 horsepower, not the 180 turbo. It is a super fun car to drive around. It's small, you know, it's sporty, and it was super great deal. I was able to pick it up about a week ago for $5,000. It was $5,200, and it's great. It has 130,000 miles on it, and it's just been a super fun little car. It's going to be something I can work on for a bit, and it'll be a fun thing to have in the interim before I get the Corolla, or just something at the end of the year. This will be something cool little thing to work on. So yeah, I guess let me show you guys around. I guess first we'll start down here. It has the upgraded 17-inch Ronal wheels. I believe this was like the original wheel that came on like the Performance Edition or something like that on the original like Audis and Volkswagens back when this car first came out, and this has them. They're not in the most amazing condition. It's got a lot of curb rash on them, but they're not too bad. And the tires on here right now are Pirelli something tires, but they're pretty trash. They're from 2014, and they're just cracking a lot. I have some new tires on order, so when those come in, those will be nice to finally have on, because right now it's a little scary to like take anywhere other than just the streets, because these are not the best. But yeah, let's move on. The thing I want to talk about is this paint. So it's honestly in most areas in like pretty good condition. It's just that you can tell this car was driven pretty hard, mostly on the freeway, because if you come look at this bumper, it's kind of hard to see from some angles on the camera, but it is like the whole front is just coated in rock chips. So I'm going to repaint this front bumper as well. I'm going to re-clear the pillow right here, because someone plastic dipped red over it, and I started peeling it up, and a ton of clear coat peel underneath. So we're going to re-clear that right here, as well as the side mirrors and the rear wing, and possibly the housing for the third brake light up here, because that's peeling up a little bit as well, and maybe a bit on the bumper. My original idea was to re-clear the whole car, so keep the red paint and then do like a super high flake clear to kind of just like, it's like a new color, but we're keeping the same red. But that's kind of a lot to do. It's basically a full paint job, and at that point, you know, it's not really worth it. Again, this is just going to be a little project car. So we are going to re-clear it though, and yeah, let's go on to the next thing. Interior, it's honestly pretty clean, not too bad. The only rips on the seat are right here on the driver, and even that, it stays down for the most part. It's not like on the side here where it just is like constantly getting like in and out rubbed on, so that's not too bad. And then other than that, you know, a little bit of fading right here on the steering wheel, but it's not too bad at all. The only thing that I've done to this car so far is the new shift knob. So the original one that came on here, it has like a plastic cover that says the gate pattern, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 reverse, and it was cracked and broken, so I replaced it with just this one I got off of Amazon. And then the shift boot was cracked as well, so I got this Bride one on Amazon, and I just threw it on. It's literally so easy. You just take off the Torx bolts right here, you throw the old one on, and you can see some of the materials poking out. But this again was just a little fix for the interim, because I actually have a gated shifter kit coming in off of eBay, and that should be in on the end of the month, so I'm definitely going to make a video about that. And then I also need to pick up the new shifter bushings, because you'll see like right here I'm in first gear, and it's not too bad, but it's definitely a little bit like, you can still tell I'm in neutral and when I'm in gear because it hits the ends, but the gears are a little bit loose. So yeah, we're going to pick up those new shifter bushings, and then the gated shifter. That will be very cool. And there's some little things, you know, like the lock right here was broken, and we have that down here, and there's just a few little like plastic pieces that are missing. But you know, again, this is just going to be a fun car to work on, because as much as like I worked on the Corolla and everything, I did all my own mods to that, I never really had a car that I could work on and play around with that wasn't really as much a big of a deal, because that car is obviously a lot more expensive. But yeah, this car is going to be super fun to have for the next couple months, maybe a year. And yeah, let's move on to the engine bay now. Just went in and cleaned this up last night because it was incredibly dirty. I actually have all of the plastic panels removed from it right now, but here it is, super cleaned up. Literally everything in here is original and OEM, which is super nice. I think the only thing that's different is the battery, but Yeah, I have all the plastic panels that went on here. It's just that a bunch of them were missing the screws for it. So we took them all off because we wanted to replace them all and clean them all and everything. And now what we also had to do was we were going to check the timing belt, because apparently that is a big issue with these cars. The original interval was supposed to be like 120,000 miles, and as the years went on and as people owned these cars for longer, the interval just kept going down and down, and more people were reporting that their timing belt was snapping earlier, and now it's down to like 60,000 miles. But we checked, and this was probably done a couple years ago. It has maybe 10,000 miles left on it, so we're going to leave it for the time being. We did an oil change, new spark plugs, general maintenance, stuff like that. But yeah, everything on here is original. So now that we have the screw kit back on and we can put on all the hardware, we're going to throw back on all the plastics on here. And there's really not a whole lot I'm planning to do to this car necessarily. It's just going to be fun that like when something comes up, or even maintenance stuff, that I can like get that knowledge and learn with that as I'm going. But what I do have planned is, again, those new tires, and then I'm probably going to get maybe like a 1/2-inch spacer for the rear, just get like that flush stance fitment that I love, and it's going to look super meaty because I got some Falcon Azenis RT660 tires. So I always wanted to get like a super meaty tire, but I always heard that road noise was just super bad. But this is a convertible, it's an older car, it's already pretty rattly inside, so I figured why not, it's the time to do it. So I ordered those tires, and then the other thing we have on order is an upgraded blow-off valve. And the turbo noise is actually like pretty noticeable. Even when you turn on the car, you can hear that whistle like just from idle. But I wanted to have something a little bit more, because, you know, on the Corolla I had that upgraded exhaust and everything, and I wanted something just a little bit more classier, I guess. Like not necessarily a loud exhaust, but just like that turbo. I want that to be able to showcase that, and I think that is super cool. So the turbo is actually the blow-off valve is actually super accessible. It's right there, and that should be an easy little mod. Should be in within the next few days. We actually just ordered it today as of Wednesday, so hopefully it'll be in this week. It's from Turbo Smart. I think it was like 250 bucks, but yeah, not too bad at all. Basically, it's just going to be that, the new tires, the gated shifter, and the other thing that I forgot to even mention while we were in the interior is there is a company that makes new seat covers for this car, and it's not just like a slip-on seat cover. You take off all the old material and you put on the new one, and you have to re-staple it on, but they make a kit for this car, and I can completely do it like the OEM color, because there was an option for this car. It was the Audi, I think they called it like a burnt orange interior, but it had like the baseball stitching right here, like on a baseball glove, and that'll be a super nice mod to do for the interior, because again, these seats, not too bad, but they are starting to crack, and that's probably the biggest problem with the interior of this car. So we're gonna do that, and we're just gonna be doing some nice mods to make this car a lot more fun to drive. It's gonna kind of revitalize it. You know, once we have the new paint on there and the new seats, this car is gonna be looking brand new again. All right, so we're on the road now. One of the big reasons why I got this car, or I just wanted like kind of like a project car in general, is because I know how to drive manual, or I knew how to drive manual before I had this car. My first car was a 2003 Jeep, and it was a manual. It's what I learned on. But it had been a while since I'd driven one, and I kind of just wanted to have a car that I could like perfect it on, and really just be able to not worry as much as if I had a brand new car that was a manual. So that was part of the reason why I got this car. But yeah, it's been super fun. Been getting a lot more used to it, and yeah, let's take it for a drive now. The one thing I will say about this car, even though it was kind of like a sporty car, and it is honestly pretty quick, it's a fun car to drive, it's just that it has very, very high-end power. So going from like second gear up to sixth gear is very fun, but if I were to start in like fourth gear and floor it, it would take probably like 10 seconds before it would go anywhere. So if I was in sixth gear and I just floored it, like if I was on the freeway and needed to pass them or something, I have to downshift to like third gear for if I wanted to go anywhere, which is not the greatest, but it's a fun car to drive. 0 to 60 is fun, 50 to anything else is slow. But yeah, we'll do a little pull after this turn right here. sure how good it's going to pick up on camera, but you guys can hear that blow-off valve right now. It's honestly pretty loud, especially considering this is a factory blow-off valve. But like going from 4th to 5th gear, if you floor it, you can like really hear that blow-off valve once it gets up to speed, which is nice. I really like that. Yeah, it's pretty loud. It's a fun car to drive. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about this car, as well as what you'd like to see me do on it. Because again, I have like my little plan for what I want to do in the beginning, but I'd love to get you guys suggestions on what you'd want to see. Yeah, this will definitely be a fun one for the next bit of time. But I'm glad I was able to showcase like everything about the car and my future plans for it right now. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, leave in the comments below what you want to see next. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye.